Welcome back, frenemies. Podcast number 40. All right, I'm the man in the middle, Chris. To my left, the people's champ, or whatever we like to call him, man of the people, Ryan Meckes. And then commish to my right, Sean. Sean, I'm going to throw the intro shout out to you. We got a special shout out that we especially these two need a shout out right here.
So our shout out goes to our newest YouTube subscriber, and that would be Ben Meckes.
Oh,
that
my
name
goodness.
sounds familiar. It's
about
Ryan's brother
time.
and also my brother-in-law. So
Oh my goodness.
we're glad you jumped on, Ben.
And my coworker, so we all have like this weird tie together.
Ours is the weirdest.
He's been very supportive on Instagram, but now it's time to start pulling your weight on YouTube.
We're like,
Right.
yay. And we're like, finally? Like, come on, bro. We support you. Got to support us, man. Anyways, we are, recording here in Phil Studios. Yes, Phil, I want $5. I just said that, Phil Studios.
Every time we say Phil, we get $5?
Yes.
Nice.
Thanks. Phil Studio, $10. Here we go. But let's go straight to the talk of the town here. We got some news coming out of this Sunday. All right. For a lot of fantasy owners, the number one overall pick is out for almost 2 months, Sean.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal for
Saquon Barkley.
It's probably going to put a lot of people on tilt, or they're going to just be like, I don't even know what to do with my team. Do I trade away all these assets just to get another running back? I don't think that's the right move. Hopefully you picked up Wayne Gallman. I'm not quite sure. I guess that's kind of what we can talk about. What do you guys think the involvement of Wayne Gallman will be? I think he's mostly going to have the touches, but I don't think he's that great.
I have to go. I don't know. I can't film study this guy, but I want to know if he was even usable in the pass game. That might be the benefit there.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite sure what it would be. Like, he's definitely worth the start to look at what's going to go on for Saquon Barkley owners. But, like, in our league, 9 out of the 12 guys bid on him.
Yep.
So everybody's trying to snatch him up. So I'm not quite sure. If he's involved in the pass game, I think it would be good. But, yes, the production won't be there.
Yeah.
It won't be Saquon-like.
The latest news on Saquon is 4 to 8 weeks. We still don't know. He's getting a second opinion on the ankle. It's a high ankle sprain. I heard someone talking, and they said there's a lot of variation to this. It could potentially take him out for the season if it's bad enough.
Yeah, I always
They have to
hear
do
high ankle
surgery.
sprain. That's a no-no.
Yeah, it's not a good one. And the Giants most likely aren't going to be anywhere near a playoff contending team, so
Right.
they have no reason to bring him back. So I wouldn't bank on the fact that you're going to get him back in that 4 week. I think that's highly unlikely that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it kills us as fantasy owners, NFL guys.
Doesn't kill us. Doesn't kill me at all.
Yeah. Well, if you have him on your team.
What if
it
my
hurts
nemesis has lost his best guy?
That's the only reason I won this week, man. We can talk about that in the 757 talkers, but it's funny. But let's stay with the New York Football Giants and talk about Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. I'm wearing a Duke shirt. If you're watching on YouTube for Daniel, these guys looked at me like, why are you wearing a Duke shirt? I'm like, that's where you went to school.
That's true.
Well,
So
I mean, it's just incredibly form-fitting. It's hard not to look at it.
got to lay off the buffet line.
So I'm curious,
I didn't mean that.
Ryan, what do you think of Daniel Jones? Like, do you think this is sustainable? Do you think we were all wrong and he's actually an amazing quarterback?
Bro, I
That's
like
about how I feel.
I like the guy. I mean, obviously, I guess the best way to describe how I feel about Daniel Jones is my what I put down on him for Fab. We had 200. I put $10 on him.
Okay.
I was like, you know what?
5% of the budget.
I feel like this is a good guy. He's gonna be a good quarterback, possibly a great quarterback. But I'm not gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing, he's got a good matchup this week, so I still
Yeah.
don't think you get a full sense of what he's playing Washington, so you won't get really the sense of how good Daniel Jones is. But, I mean, he's better than Eli. There's no denying that anymore right now.
I like the guy.
Where Eli is right now, Daniel Jones is much better for this New York Giants
And
team.
it looks like, outside reports and watching the game, Eli support him like none other because they share the same quarterback coach for years. So he's supporting him. And then there's a report where he got in the huddle on one scoring drive and he's like, let's go march down the field and score this bleeping ball. And then he runs the ball in himself.
It's hard for me to picture that face saying that.
Well, that's
phrase.
That's what I like about him. He's got a little fire. He's really fire. He's like Baker Mayfield, but he actually throws well.
I think like the Giants players. Oh,
Bird
drop there. What was impressive with that little like pep talk dropping a curse word there because the player said he's a guy that never curses during practice on the sideline, but he comes in there and everyone was like shocked, like what the heck? He's like, and then he does what he says and makes a score. So
well, you can't get in there and be like, "Gee Willikers, guys, golly darn it, let's score this touchdown."
oh man,
sometimes there's a time and a place for a good bleep.
Sometimes it's gonna be timed perfect there. I
Yeah.
guess. But
Golly darn it.
Let's go over to Carolina because touchdowns is what Kyle Allen was throwing on Sunday.
Yeah,
he was
another impressive guy that no one knew about. That no one expected that, and he just comes out and throws touchdowns. Was it 4 touchdowns?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he made Greg Olsen look young again. 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards receiving. And Cam he's out again this week for sure, but it looks like he'll be even further out.
It's a Liz Frank injury. They're saying 4 to 8 weeks, similar to the Saquon thing, where it's like, I think they just don't know yet. Mm-hmm. If he gets a surgery, then he's probably out the rest of the season. So you're looking at Kyle Allen. The good news is, if you have weapons on Carolina, it doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of fall off. Especially since hurt Cam, he's definitely a better option, Kyle Allen. You saw everybody succeed.
It was the Cardinals. But this is the first time we saw Curtis Samuel. It was the 3rd week of the season, but Curtis Samuel was doing great.
Yep.
And then guy like who am I missing up there? Who's the second guy over there?
Christian Kirk.
Carolina.
Oh, Carolina.
DJ Moore. DJ Moore was the check down for Cam.
Yep.
So his volume wasn't the same. But I think it'll even out. But yeah, you're right. Those weapons there are looking really good in Carolina. We'll see.
It's not going to really affect McCaffrey. You saw he had a great week.
Right.
So I think it's pretty even keel is what it was.
And I thought it was awesome. Kyler Murray and Kyle Allen were both teammates at Texas A&M their freshman year. And then they played on the field together at the same time because they both left out of there. It's pretty awesome. So,
all right, well, let's move on to some fun here.
Yeah. Would you like to go to a party in my pants?
No.
All right, let's go.
Oh, man, there's so many great drops from that one movie. Not the second one, just the first one. Party question this week here. A TV show you enjoyed but are embarrassed to admit.
Yeah, we all have that show that's our guilty pleasure, just that one that you watch in the downtime and you don't tell anybody.
Kind of like this.
Yeah. Guys come in. What do you watch? I was watching football.
You have the remote right next to you.
Oh, I know.
So if we're going to phrase it that way, I think we should start with Ryan.
I know.
His might be the most embarrassing.
This is very embarrassing.
Downton Abbey. Ladies and gentlemen.
Is that all you have to say for it?
Love that British drama.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, if I talk anymore, what the heck? It's already out there.
Just go for it, bud. Explain away.
There's this, the writing is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's won awards.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on, and you're like,
It just doesn't usually appeal to someone of your gender, but.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Just a lot of lug triangles and hexagons and this guy likes her and she there's just a lot of really
drama.
It's more like I think it's impressive how they've taken so many characters. It's a huge cast and yet somehow they direct them and write something that works for a huge cast. So there you go. There you go, fellas.
All right, Chris, who's your embarrassing one?
Some people might not know this, but there's a show called Greek on ABC Family. Now I know
I kind of remember that.
I'm looking this up.
So I didn't know when I started watching it. I think it was in my college days, but it was about college life, and I think that's where we go in there. And I even continue watching it a little bit of my Navy career because before I went on iTunes, I just bought a bunch of episodes because that's all I did. At the time I was single, so I was just like, I'm just going to watch a lot of TV shows while we're out underway. And I watched that, and that's not the manliest thing to watch in the military. So that was kind of weird because it's like, hey, it's all about these frat houses.
Your buddies walk in the laptop and be like, what the heck are you watching, dude?
It wasn't like anything crazy like American Pie-esque or whatever. It's like, it's definitely like a teenage girl show, but for some reason, I don't know. I had a crush on the lead girl, so I watched it, but then the guys in the show was really good. And I'm one of those guys, if I start it, I got to finish it.
Yep, that's me too.
Yeah.
All right, so my turn to put it out there. Mine's, I feel like I should have come up with a better one, but it's fairly embarrassing because of the time frame.
We have adequately embarrassed ourselves.
Yes.
So mine is The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, which, for those who don't know my age, I'm almost 30, so I'm too old to have watched a lot of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. In my defense, I had little sisters, but I was definitely in college when this show was on, and I just found myself, walking through the living room and just sitting down and like enjoying it, just watching it. So I've probably seen almost every episode of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
They're funny dudes.
Yeah.
If Sean's sisters, or if you're watching, you need to confirm this.
They're not.
Please comment.
Yeah, they're not. There's no way.
Ben, make your wife watch this.
All right. Well, back to football here. Let's get into our fantasy Tinder.
Fantasy Tinder, where we decide who is worthy of starting and sitting.
Hey, how you doing?
All-time classic, Joey, one of my heroes. Start, sit. We're swipe left, swipe right here. So we're bringing guys that are outside the top 15 in their position groups and really starting talking about, because we're in the season. You guys are looking at your lineups and bench, waiver wire guys. So, Sean, I want you to start at the running back position with your start and your sit here. Who are you swiping right on?
All right, so I'm going to swipe right on Justin Jackson. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is because I think I'm going to start him in a league that I'm playing in, that I'm undefeated right now. I'm going to have to put him in.
And I know this hurts, but what's your biggest reason why?
The reason, why he's not...
Why he's starting?
Why he's starting? I have really bad running backs, that's why.
What team is he playing?
Oh, he is playing the Dolphins. Oh, that's where you're headed with the pain down.
These guys are Dolphins fans. I was like, what's the real reason why you think he was going to be so good?
Yeah, that's my number one point here for why you need to start Justin Jackson. He's playing the Miami Dolphins, which if you haven't been watching football, then you would not know that the Miami Dolphins are awful, awful, awful.
Really
and that's
By design, which hurts even more.
Kind of. I just am getting over it quick, slowly. But Justin Jackson, I think that you could start him as a flex position. I'm not saying, throw him into that RB2. I mean, if you have terrible options, I just think he's a good crapshoot because he's playing the Dolphins. They have allowed, on average, 32 points, 32 fantasy points to the running back position. That is a lot. That's plenty for Eckler to have himself a 20-point game and then get your 12-point game from Justin Jackson.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I see him. He's got, a pretty good floor this game. They'll probably go up on the Dolphins like every team has. They'll probably want to save Eckler a little more and put Justin Jackson in the second half to run the clock out. So that's kind of what I'm banking on. He's also been trending up in his snap percentage.
Yeah.
Went from 25 week 1, 27 week 2, up to 37 last week. So they want to get him more involved. He looks pretty good on the field, and I just think that's somebody you can throw in there.
Wow.
What?
I just saw a little point where you said the Dolphins are allowing an average of over 32 fantasy points per week to running backs.
Just running backs,
Oh, my
correct.
goodness. I was looking at the doc. I was like, oh, geez. Oh, man, I need to go get the third-string running back.
And then my sit this week
Swiping left.
in the running back position is going to be Philip Lindsay. So it's kind of a dangerous one because he blew up last week. He almost beat me in a league by himself. He had I think 2 touchdowns last week.
He's like 5'7". What in the world?
Tasmanian devil, man.
Yeah.
But I still think he's a good talent. I don't like his matchup this week. The Jags defense is 10th against the run. That's not a matchup I'm feeling too good about. Last week they played Derrick Henry, 44 yards total for Derrick Henry. So, and like I told you before, 2 touchdowns for Philip Lindsay. So if he doesn't get touchdowns, which the over-under for this game is like 38. This is not going to be a high-scoring game between the Broncos and the Jaguars. So I think Philip Lindsay, if you saw that stat line last week on your bench and then you were like, you know what, I'm going to swap him back in, I would hesitate a little bit on that. I mean, if you have terrible options, he's not going to kill you, but I'm not seeing a week-winning performance this week. He's not going to be up in that like RB2. He's barely a flex for me this week.
No, yeah, and great. And just reminding guys, a lot of these start sits are going off of matchups.
Yeah.
So I love that brought up. Like everyone's probably thinking he's going to be phenomenal. But yes, week to week, got to look at that. So for me, swiping right, both my picks here, I did not think I would say this at the beginning of the season if you asked me like a month ago.
Yeah.
But I was swiping right, starting Rex Burkhead against Buffalo. All right.
Give him the faith there.
Oh, my goodness. But he's taking a lot of snaps away from Sony Michel, we're not quite sure if he's in the doghouse or what, but it's not looking too great. And Rex is averaging double-digit fantasy points through 3 weeks. I think week 2 had 8 points, but outside double digits, yes, we know that James White was on maternity leave, but even when he was there in week 1 and week 2, Rex Burkhead was still getting on the field.
Yep.
So he's worth a start at the flex. Okay. You mentioned this earlier, but the running back position is a crapshoot. Because of injuries and guys underperforming. Unless you're a Dalvin Cook owner or Alvin Kamara, everybody is underperforming.
Yeah.
So
And you got bye weeks this week, so Le'Veon Bell type of guy, you might need to throw in Burkhead.
So Burkhead should be out there at waivers. They're good deep leagues, smart leagues. Somebody's got him rostered already. Swiping left, I'm sitting David Montgomery against the Vikings.
It's going to hurt some owners there.
It's going to hurt it because, you know what? You can't trust Matt Nagy's use of him. I was watching that game on Monday night. Montgomery looks like by far the best running back.
Yeah.
But then I am laughing.
He doesn't look bad.
I'm playing a guy that had Montgomery on his lineup. We're both the battle of the flexes. And I'm just laughing every time I see Cordero Patterson coming in an I formation to run the ball. And I'm like, I don't get it. So
He's a big man.
Montgomery is doing great. Matt Nagy's shooting all of us fantasy owners in the foot.
Yep.
And that's the only reason why I won't start him. It just doesn't make sense of what Matt Nagy's doing there. But going against Minnesota, who's got a good defense, I would not go that. So I wouldn't start him against the Vikings for those two reasons. Great defense he's playing, and you can't trust Nagy's offensive play calling.
Yep. I would agree. This might not be the week.
It'll turn around. Be patient with them. But you're probably hurting in your lineup because you're getting single digits from your more likely RB2.
Yep. What about you, Ryan?
All right, I'm starting, which means I am swiping right
That's correct.
on Chris Carson this week. I know he's
Mr. Fumbles
a
lot.
fumble bumblebee. But Carroll just keeps putting confidence behind him. He's got like Sean was saying, he's got a great matchup against Arizona this week, who's third worst against the run. And Rashad Penny has got his hamstring issue. I think I just cracked my voice there.
Yeah,
Sure
he
did.
heard it in warm-ups. It was kind of surprised and active, but he might still be out.
He probably
Are
will.
you talking about his voice he hurt during warm-ups?
Yeah,
or
that's
his
true.
voice crack? Or Rashad
Usually I'm
Penny?
better. Usually I'm.
Oh, boy.
Not today.
It's going to be great to edit right there. All right. Here we
Do you
go.
guys know I can do a SpongeBob laugh?
I
Go.
don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Apparently that's how he did it.
Yeah, I've seen
that's
video of him
He
doing
goes,
it.
Anyways,
Moving on
Wow, you did not
to
know
your
that.
sit there, Ryan.
I'm swiping left on all Dolphins running backs and Eagles running backs and Wayne Gallman.
Whoa, some bonus ones here.
Wow.
Yeah. Wayne Gallman. I know
I think it's Gallman.
I'm doing what I did last week. DJ Metcalf.
Just trying to.
He's amazing.
Dude,
let me tell you.
You infected my brain because now I keep saying DJ and I'm like, no, it's DK, Ryan.
Wayne Gallman.
Gallman. Just trying to save you from the critics out there.
Daniel.
Yes.
Thank you for keeping me accountable, Daniel.
Thanks for listening.
over
Daniel.
and over and over again. I really appreciate it. Wayne. All right, now I'm tripping. Gallman.
There you go.
There you go.
I know we all spent money on Wayne Gallman. We all put our little bids in, right?
Yep.
But come on, guys.
Some big bids.
Pump the brakes a little bit on Wayne Gallman. 4th round pick, 2017, I believe, out of Clemson. Yeah, he has a chance to be good. But as he replaced Saquon Barkley with 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter. And I know it was like a shootout with the Bucs and everything. I know it was a little bit more passing going on, but he only got 5 carries after that.
Yep.
So, and also, I don't like the fact that the Giants are freaking out and trying out like 3 running backs today, Benny Cunningham and Zach Zenner, and I forget what the third guy is. That's kind of normal. They need a third string. But, like, I don't like what I'm seeing. I think we're going to see a committee possibly forming.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I think his talent isn't enough to supersede that. So, like,
Right.
if some other guy does start to show promise,
Yeah.
then, there's no telling if they'll just start giving him the rock.
Like, you got to
Yeah.
claim them, but you can't. You're rolling the dice on them.
I need a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
need
want
a
that
week.
week of let me see what
I
they're
need to
gonna
see
do.
more than 5 carries in the
Yeah,
NFL.
That's true.
You know, I mean, I'm sure I haven't been watching the guy, I'll admit, at all.
Yeah,
But
he hasn't had too many starts. So yeah.
okay, yeah, I need a week. I need to see him doing more than what he did last week.
Well, yeah,
So,
he was there before Saquon, and obviously they felt like they needed to draft Saquon.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like
That
a
gives you an
true
idea.
RB1.
The pros are that he carried every backfield touch he had, it was him.
Yeah.
So that's the pro. You have something to look forward to, guys who just spent 50% of your fab on him. But just chill a little for a minute is my suggestion. If you lost Saquon, put him in the flex, but don't depend on him as your RB2 or your RB1. I would say that's my suggestion.
Let's boomerang this back around here and do Chris now. Let's hear your wide receiver.
All right, so my swipe right, man, it's a no-brainer, but we can all trust DeMarcus Robinson now. All right, some of us might have been a little worried about him, but he is a favorite target of Mahomes.
All right, I'm gonna ring the bell here because
my goodness.
we'll throw in my start of the week here because I have Sammy Watkins as my start of the week. So we got two Chiefs wide receivers that we're going head to head with. I think we need to come up with some type of bet for this. Since they're both our start of the week. Are you willing to do that?
Kidding.
Like, I don't know. You may
what are the
just
stakes?
because you like him as a start doesn't mean you don't like Sammy as a start.
Right.
But I just thought it would be a fun little debate to have here between them.
I think DeMarcus Robinson will outscore Sammy Watkins.
Okay. Well, I think that Sammy Watkins is going to definitely get more points. This is the week that I feel I don't want to steal your spotlight. So go ahead on your DeMarcus Robinson.
Well, first off, for this bet, listeners, write down what we should be putting down on the bet there.
Yeah.
So comment on any of our social
DeMarcus
media
Robinson.
platforms. What do you want it?
Get in there.
I don't.
Our YouTube fan Tim Cook, you let us know what you think.
Yes, Tim Cook.
What should we do as a punishment for whoever loses?
He's a man.
Punishment or reward? I'm good with either.
I like it. Let's go for that one. All right. So, but yes, my reason is that he's a favorite target of Mahomes now through 3 weeks, even with Sammy Watkins' big game in week 1. His stat line in the past two weeks with Tyreek Hill out shows that he's a target there to pick up. A touchdown guy. He'll go in there. Week 2, he really went up. So he's an upside flex player.
Yep.
Receiver options are really big. The receivers in Kansas City, especially when it's not Tyreek Hill, even if you have a Sammy Watkins, to me is a wide receiver 2 or a flex. Any passing option outside of like Hill or Kelsey,
Flex. He said
the other guys are wide receiver 2s and flexes, and that's where I would put a DeMarcus Robinson because you should have someone like a Julio Jones or bigger, a Thielen, someone that you can put in that wide receiver 1 spot.
Yep. So my reasoning, I can't argue with the points the last 2 weeks. Okay,
Right.
It's definitely been in Robinson's favor. Sammy Watkins has not performed up to that level. But what I do want to take it to is, which I think you can really read into, is the targets.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 weeks, so these have been the bad weeks for Sammy Watkins. He had a blow-up game, 45 points, and then he's been bad. In those 2 weeks, he's had 21 targets. Guess how much McCole Hardman...
Doesn't matter if you can't catch him, bro.
Guess how much McCole Hardman and DeMarcus Robinson had?
About 15?
They had 21. So their combined was the amount that Sammy Watkins is getting. I'm getting
catching them.
Sammy Watkins is catching them too.
It's just downfield
I don't have his reception
stuff.
numbers
Yeah.
up, but he definitely is leading them in receptions through those 2 weeks. The thing that's not happening is touchdowns, and that is the most volatile stat in football. It just depends on who's going to get the touchdown. I have a feeling this week that Sammy Watkins is going to get a touchdown. It's about time. He's on my team, so maybe I'm a little biased.
DeMarcus Robinson's not on my team, but I'm like...
I feel for you, though, dude. Like, for him to go off in week 1 and then just pull this bleepity bleep that he's been doing the last year, that can't feel good.
I'm calling you out, Sammy Watkins. This week, I'm expecting a lot.
Yes.
So he's playing the 22nd ranked passing defense. Same thing for DeMarcus Robinson. So I think you can probably start all 3 this week. But I'm calling Sammy out. I think he's going to be a top 12 wide receiver this week. That's my bold prediction here.
Nice.
Ooh, so let's get that bet going, listeners. All right, I'm swiping.
What are the stakes?
We're going to choose later.
Let's do this.
We'll talk about it next week.
We're going to let the listeners decide.
Okay.
Swiping left on Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
I love the man.
It's got to hurt you there.
My favorite.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even introduce it. For those watching on YouTube, we have a couple new props.
We have our artwork here. To the right, we have a piece by Total Sports that has signed by Sharpie by this man in the photo, Stephon
Diggs and Le'Veon Bell in a Steelers uniform on the other shoulder of me. Great buy, plug in, not a sponsor of the show, pristine auction. You find great stuff.
But if you guys are listening, Bell and Diggs, and you want to sponsor the show, right now we have a running endorsement of $5 a week.
See if you can
Phil
beat it.
Studios. If you want to change it to Diggs or
that's $15. We said Phil 3 times.
Phil Studios.
All right, so how you feeling on Diggs here?
I love Diggs. Again, Minneapolis Miracle. I have your jersey.
He's a Minnesota fan, for
I'm a
those who don't know.
Vikings fan. But the run more offense in Minnesota has hurt him badly.
It has.
His his stat line through 3 weeks is 6 catches for 101 yards and only 1 TD. Now, some of that's Kirk Cousins missing him, especially week 2.
Yeah, all last year I had him.
Yeah. But don't bench him now. Don't cut him.
Okay.
All right. He can turn it around. We just don't know when. It's almost like if you have someone that's scoring better, because right now the averages when you listen to ESPN, Sleeper, Yahoo, they're still going to project because they know that he was a wide receiver 10 last year.
Yeah.
But you almost need a prove it thing to show that he's game planned back into the offense.
Let me give you an example for everybody. So Sterling Shepard kind of came into his own last week, and Daniel Jones is now starting. They're playing Washington. They have a bad, as in the worst passing defense. So would you start Sterling Shepard over Stephon Diggs this week?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that kind of puts in perspective for everybody that it might be time to put him on the bench for a little bit.
Yeah, because
until you see something.
DeFilippo, the offense coordinator of Minnesota, was the reason why Thielen and Diggs numbers went so big. Even Thielen is becoming a touchdown dependent wide receiver in fantasy.
Yeah.
Because the volumes aren't there because Dalvin Cook is kicking butt.
For my team.
Yes. So that's my starting sit. Sean, where you got?
All right, so I told you Sammy Watkins. I gave him every reasons on that.
Start.
My swiping left is Alshon Jeffery. This is another member of my team.
Is he going to play tomorrow night?
He has actually just been declared that he will play. He's not on the injury report anymore. I don't quite buy it. The first reports were that he's going to be out a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden he almost played last week, and now he's going to play this week. I kind of see decoy written all over this. He'll still probably be productive in some regard. The issue is that he's playing the Packers defense, which in the past sounds like a great matchup. This year they have been really, really good. They only allowed 1 TD in the last 3 weeks to a wide receiver. So I don't think that's going to, start to uptick just because the Eagles are playing them. They've had a rough go at offense so far. So what I'm just saying is if you've been waiting on Alshon to put him back in your lineup, kind of like Ryan said he wants to wait and see, that's what I want to see with Alshon. I need a week where I can see that he's, fully healthy and going to get the full targets that he was getting.
Yeah, but the tough part is we're starting to roll in the bye week, so some of you guys will be forced to play.
Some you may have to play, and I'm not saying you can't flex him, but if you're depending on him as a wide receiver too, then I think you're going to be pretty disappointed this week.
Yep. All right, Ryan, who's your starting sits, man?
Start Marvin Jones.
Great pickup, dude.
Thank you for coming back to life, Marvin Jones. I did not draft him, yes. Yes, I picked him up off the waivers out of my wisdom, and then I sat him on my bench as my team lost, and he went off for 20 points. But
it's always a fun one.
I like Marvin Jones. I always have liked Marvin Jones, but he is actually the number one, let's see, per ESPN. Let's see, he has got the most yards out of the team right now. So Kenny Galladay's getting a lot more targets, but he hasn't turned them into the yards. Of course, Marvin Jones, you probably want Kenny Galladay out of the two because he's getting more consistency. Marvin Jones, we know from a few years back that he's like, he'll get you all these points, then he'll disappear.
It's true.
But I like the matchup. I like going against the Chiefs. It could be a high tempo. I believe the lines are 2-0-1. Chiefs 3-0, right?
Yep.
So shootout potential. Fire him up as a,
It's going to be a lot of offense in this game, so I think you can't go wrong with. You got a good shot at a touchdown for Marvin Jones.
Yeah. So put him in. He's one of their wide receiver ones.
Oh, and I
love the Lions.
I love how quick and witted this sit is for yours.
Yeah.
It's a simple one.
Yeah. If Jalen Ramsey plays, sit Emmanuel Sanders. Jalen, this is the most funny thing in the NFL right now. You have to, as a fan, you almost have to enjoy the
drama.
The drama of the holdouts because he's had an illness.
He's got the flu.
Injured.
I was gonna say, is it this week he's doing the flu, or was that last week?
I think it's this week. He's doing the flu.
Yeah, he's doing the flu. That's the way we're putting it. I mean, no offense. If you are really sick, I'm very sorry, Jalen, but
we know what you
don't really believe you.
He's disgruntled. And I think Emmanuel Sanders, it's just time. It's time to sit Emmanuel on the bench if Jalen plays. We'll just put it that way. If he doesn't, then go ahead, knock yourself out, put him in.
All right, and then moving on to our waiver wire quarterback. Each week we're going to give you guys a quarterback that if you've got a bye week or you had an injury, you can go pick up this guy off the waiver wire and get you a good matchup play. Phillip Rivers is the obvious one this week. Again, he's playing the Dolphins, just like my running back start. You start up anybody.
Bro,
on
you got to
the
have some
Chargers.
faith in us.
Oh, no, I have no faith.
Did you see us try to put up a little fight, though, this past
I
week?
did.
We were like, screw the owners. We're going to win. And then,
And then somebody came into the locker room and said, guys, we want the first pick.
yeah.
I don't know.
You guys all get a bonus if we get
I
the
actually
first
watched the first half of that game and not the second, and it's the best thing I've done all year.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I got hope. I saw a little bit of Rosen. He didn't look too bad in the first half.
He looked scared the whole game. He was like,
So I didn't get to watch
and
that massacre.
those Dolphins tights are not very flattering.
You don't like the all aqua?
I like the Al Aqua.
It wasn't that great, man. Like,
It looks worse when you're that bad, I think, is also
Yeah.
part of it.
yeah.
Aqua.
All right, so we're going to move on now to our turntable segment.
Which is where we call out the players that are going to buck the trend.
Well. How the turntables.
See, this as Ryan was saying there, we're looking at guys who are bucking the trend for better or for worse here. I'll go first here. I am calling out, we mentioned him earlier, I think we're going to see some positive momentum for Sterling Shepard. It's changed because the QB position has changed. He scored 24 points in half-point PPR leagues.
Yep.
And with the rejuvenated QB position with Danny Dimes from Duke, the targets will be steady even with Golden Tate coming back after this week.
Yep.
I think he's going to be really, really good because the Giants will be in a shootout almost every game because the defense is bad.
Defense is terrible. Yeah, that's a good point.
So that is my guy for the turntable there. Sean, who do you got?
All right, so I've got James Conner, which I know makes Ryan very happy inside.
Thank you, Sean. I saw it as he was typing this out.
Well, when we were typing out, you just put his name and you didn't put your notes in. So
Yeah.
I thought you were going to turn for the worse. So I thought of Ryan. I was like, he's going to hate this if we're saying he's going down.
No, I think he's going to turn it around. I'm not saying season long, he's back up to your RB1. I think he's more like an RB2 for
Why
the rest.
not?
Because this offense is bad and
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph is bad.
I
Like
agree.
we found that out last week.
Yeah.
He's not a great quarterback yet. Now he can grow into that a little bit. The reason why I like him specifically coming up next week, that's kind of the turnaround I'm calling for, is even though he's had a low production, he got 68% of the snaps. He had last week 83% of the running back carries. I mean,
Yeah.
so he's getting the work. He is the running back. I mean, if you're not watching the games, you may think, who else are they using? Why isn't James Conner getting the ball? He's getting the ball. He's just not being efficient with it. The offense is so bad that they're probably just piling on the run, and so he's having a harder time running. This week, they're going to be playing the Bengals, which is the 31st team against running backs. So he's got a great matchup this week. Last week, Frank Gore played him, and he
Played
dominated.
16 points against
Yeah, exactly.
the Bengals.
Frank Gore can get 16 points. I think James Conner can get there. So that's kind of my stance on it. I think that if you're a little afraid and you've just, been toughing it out with James Conner and you're ready to bench him for some waiver wire guy like Wayne Gallman, I would not do that. I think James Conner this week will get you an RB2 value, and he has the upside of hitting RB2 this week, or RB1 this week, I think, on RB1.
I love it. Ryan, who's your turntable boy?
My turntable boy is Baker Mayfield. I think this is, either way, his game against the Ravens is going to be his career-defining game. I think this is where we're going to see either he's going to break out and he's going to really give Lamar Jackson's Ravens a run for their money, or he will not. And that will probably be this will be what defines him, because Baker Mayfield got taken first overall in 2018. All this hype
Broke
was
the rookie
around him.
record for, was it touchdowns? In just like 10 games. Yeah, he was super hyped.
Yeah, and then, Lamar Jackson obviously has been doing really well with the Ravens. But I think that he does well. The reason I think he does well is the Ravens secondary is not so great. So there's maybe an option for Baker to actually finally connect with his receivers a little bit here in this one. And also just the psychological aspect of like I think he feels the pressure just like everybody. If he's gonna come out, this
He's a
is
prideful
it.
guy, man. So.
This is it, man. This is his chance, and I think he will take advantage of it.
This may be the Browns' season on the line here. I mean, they can't keep losing games, and then especially to a division mate, the Ravens.
Right.
I think it's a good call. He could definitely come out and dominate.
So I will be
They need
starting
to.
him. I've drafted him. I mean, probably 7th, 8th round in the draft. I will be starting him this week. If he does not do well this week, he is done. I will drop him.
Yeah, you got to hear is to make
yeah.
sure that the offensive line doesn't give him too much. If he doesn't get the ball out quickly,
Yeah, that's the
it looks
one
bad.
thing. Yeah.
And the play calling for from Freddie Kitchens, I am just
He's
I don't
getting too
understand.
cute. I just don't
Yeah,
understand what's going on.
So want to know if that's a mixture into Baker's thing or
Cute meaning fancy.
yes,
Yes.
if that's what's
That is a
Baker.
term we use in our circle.
Yes. But all right, so that's our turntable segment there. Guys, thank you for listening here. A little bit shout out again to Ben. Thank you for following us. But guys, this little bet here we got. You guys
Yes.
go on there.
Get in the comments. Let us know what you think we should put on the line. Sammy
Yes.
versus DeMarcus Robinson.
Right.
Also, I want to mention we said this week we were going to have a baseball analytics guy on to kind of talk about analytics of fantasy football. He's not able to do it this week, but next week he'll be here. So if you're looking for that, look for it next week.
Statistically, he should be.
Statistically, he should be. I like that.
Statistically, most times
Math
the flu
joke.
kind of goes away
Very,
within 4
very
years.
funny.
Yeah, 4 days.
There we go.
Thank
Laugh
you.
track right there.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. And yeah, just follow us everywhere you can. We desperately would like you to.
Tell your grandmother. Deuces.
You know that they're not telling their grandmas.